It is also unkind. For those of you who have not been supporting, to stand there as an observer and say, it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see how God takes care of this. It's going to be interesting to see Paul and Susan twist and squirm as things get tighter and tighter. Oh, of course, none of my business, It's all a gift anyway, so I accept the gift, and I appreciate the gift, and I value the gift, and I even make copies of it and share it with others, and so I'm extending the gift. But all the while, you're letting Paul and Susan dangle and twist and squirm, because they've made the commitment to make the gift and follow my directions, not to try to save their ass by getting control of the situation, turning it into a transactional thing, and thereby forcing you to say thank you. Which isn't a thank you at all. It's just pure coercion and compliance. What Paul and I are doing, and the others with us are extending, is not only the truth, but the opportunity to find out, for everyone else to find out how they fit in, and to abandon the stance of the independent observer of an interesting phenomenon. Because the love that I am extending, which comes from the Father, has an intent. And that intent is to cause you to realize once again the truth about yourselves, so that you might no longer experience, quote, the human condition. So that it might be replaced with the divine conscious experience of being. So that suffering might be over forever. So that struggle might be over forever. So, the need is immediate at this end. And what I want everyone to see is that the need is immediate for you as well. Are we just talking about money? No, we're not talking about money at all. We're talking about understanding the nature of love, the way it works, and the fact that it's impossible for you to stand in receipt of love and then to extend it without being involved yourself. Oh, I found this wonderful new material. Yeah, I am enjoying it so much. Here, let me make a copy of it for you, and you pass it on. That's not involvement. That is not where you have come to a place within yourself where you've had to examine to what degree you are going to participate by acknowledging the fount, if you will, the place where it's coming forth, and seeing to it that the place where it is coming forth does not become blocked, does not become inhibited. So that not only do you stand in receipt of the gift, you nurture the the place where it's coming forth by valuing it as much as the gift. And saying, thank you, in the form that keeps the flow unblocked. Now, the fact is that if the recognition of the truth of what I've been saying does not occur, there will, within the next 2 months, have to be a change of form. The change of form is going to mean a cutting back of what is presently being done. And what is presently being done is minimal. The only extension there is at the moment is via the internet. There is no way to provide audio tapes or CDs or books or newsletters through regular mails to those who don't have computers. The next step is to delete the one form of extension that still exists. So you see, the immediacy of the need in Kingston is the immediacy of your need. Not because anyone is going to withhold it, but because the means of extending it no longer exists because it couldn't be paid for. But once again, if you say, well, I'm going to call them up and see if I can arrange to pay for it. Ask them, if I send you $10, will you send me such and such? Because then you'll be able to go out and buy a couple of cassettes, empty blank cassettes, and record them and pay for the postage. No. You can't do that. You have to participate and cooperate with, you have to participate in and cooperate with the nature of the movement of love, which is not transactional and has as its basis giving to an object of affection. If this premise for this work is altered from that, I promise you that awakening will be protracted, because there will be a complete missing of the point. A complete missing of the point that will trigger the aha in your mind, the realization of everything that we have been talking about as we have been going through the course. What I'm talking about is the embodying of a singularity rather than embodying what divides it. To have, give all to all. Not to have, get all you can for the least you can give. It is a simple principle. Oh, I hear someone saying, well, Paul wouldn't be having these problems. These situations wouldn't be coming up if Paul were doing something better. There must be some block in his mind. There must be something hidden from his dark past that he's unwilling to release. Well, you know what? The one thing Paul can't do for you is thank himself. And for many of you, that's the one thing you're not doing. Okay. Course in Miracles 101A lab session over. Let's go to the book. And for those of you who may be listening for the first time, I am reading from the course as it was finished by Bill Thetford. And so you will notice differences if you are reading from the first or second editions. The first thing you'll notice is that the title of the chapter is not the same. The title is The Consistency of the Kingdom. And again, just as a reminder, if you're in the first edition, it's page 104. If you're in the second edition, it's page 112. And if you're in the Sparkly edition, it's page 141. The consistency of the kingdom. Sounds a little bit like the singularity of the kingdom. The creative power of both God and His creations is limitless, but they are not in reciprocal relationship. You do communicate fully with God as He does with you. This is an ongoing process in which you share, and because you share it, you are inspired to create like God. Inspired. To have, give all to all. Hopefully you are inspired to embody that, because that's the way God creates. Yet, in creation, you are not in reciprocal relation to God, since He created you, but you did not create Him. We have already said that only in this respect, your creative power differs from His. Even in this world, there is a parallel. Parents give birth to children, but children do not give birth to parents. They do, however, give birth to their children, and thus give birth as their parents do. If you created God, and He created you, the kingdom could not increase through its own creative thought. Creation would therefore be limited, and you would not be co-creators with God. In other words, creation wouldn't be the eternal movement of the mind of God that never stops to repeat itself, because it would be in a closed loop. That's the best way I can put it. As God's creative thought proceeds from Him to you, so must your creative thought proceed from you to your creations. Only in this way can all creative power extend outward. To have, give all to all, extend it. God's accomplishments are not yours, but yours are like His. He created the sonship, and you increase it. And in a way, we've been talking about that today. You increase it by participating in a singularity where you don't hold yourself separate from your brothers and sisters, and you recognize that they are essential to your wholeness and you to theirs, and you let that, I'm going to say, merging occur in your mind, so that you're no longer holding a unique definition of yourself that separates you specifically from everyone and everything else. Continuing, you have the power to add to the kingdom, but not to add to the creator of the kingdom. You claim this power, the power to add to the kingdom, when you become vigilant for God, vigilant only for God and His kingdom. By accepting this power as yours, you have learned to be what you are. Once again, it's what we've been talking about. By accepting this power as yours. Well, the moment you accept this power as yours, you've got to become involved with it. You can't say, like it's an object, oh, this power is mine. Isn't it pretty? It's not too big and it's not too small. It fits in with everything else wonderfully. Oh, isn't that wonderful? No. By accepting this power as yours, you have learned what? To be what you are. That's involvement. That's being in a new way. That's being from a new premise. What you are, with a capital A, isn't a definition. It's what you be. It's what you be from the inside out. It's you putting away childish things and doing and being an adult. It's you being in a new way from a new premise. It's you being different from what you were. Continuing, your creations belong in you as you belong in God. You are part of God as your sons are part of His sons. To create is to love. And I'm going to reverse that. To love is to create. And what I've been saying today is that what Paul and I are engaged in as we let the Father's love flow through in language that can inspire and cause miracles to happen, sudden shifts of perception, is the movement of creation itself. And this movement that we are engaged in is your function as well. And I'm inviting you constantly to find it in you, activate it in you, embody it in your activities, and let your desire be single of purpose in valuing that so much that you will do whatever it takes to abandon getting, which keeps you bound in ignorance, and replacing it with giving because you care from the place of excellence in you. Continuing, love extends outward simply because it cannot be contained. Not so that it can get something, not so that it can accomplish something, not so that it can provide safety for itself, not so it can control others. Love extends outward simply because, being of the nature of joy, it cannot be contained. And it's your birthright to experience the meaning of that and being the flow of that and being illuminated by it yourself as you extend it to your brothers and sisters. Continuing, being limitless, it does not stop. Like the Energizer Bunny. It keeps going and going and going and going. Being limitless, it does not stop. It creates forever, but not in time. God's creations have always been, because He has always been. Your creations have always been, because you can create only as God creates. Eternity is yours, because He created you eternal. Okay, a little bit more practical spirituality. If He created you eternal, then you are eternal. You don't have to do anything to become eternal. Right now, you're eternal. You don't think you are. You don't behave like you are. But you are. Right now, you are eternal. If you would let that fact register with you, that your eternality is already a fact, then you would begin to look at why on earth you're indulging in birthing and dying, getting sick and getting well, getting sick and getting well. Why are you creating these variations in something that's invariable? If you're already eternal, then setting aside death is really a non-event. Do you get that? If you're already eternal, setting aside death is already a non-event. The ultimate is already happening. The kingdom of heaven is the only thing going on. The infinite, indivisible movement of God called creation is what you are part of, what you are in, and what you are responsible for by virtue of the fact that your mind is the mind of God, because God's mind is what He extended right where you are. Now what this means is, if you would imagine going to the store and buying a puzzle, where every single puzzle piece fit with every other puzzle piece. Every other puzzle piece. With that kind of a puzzle, you could put all the pieces together with the square or rectangular outline, and it could be a mess, but everything fit together. No recognizable picture, but all the pieces are there. They're not recognizable because you chose to put them together without having a recognition of what the picture really was of. And what I'm saying is that right now, each one of you is the Christ, the direct expression of God, God embodied, experiencing the kingdom of heaven, the whole puzzle, with every single part of the puzzle there, no missing pieces, And rather than recognizing what the picture is of, you, as the Christ, are putting the pieces together randomly, out of order, and creating a jumble. And you don't have to do that anymore. And you don't have to get another puzzle to have a better picture. The ultimate is happening at this very instant, and all of the resources you have as the presence of God embodied, you are using. You're just using them unintelligently. Why? Because you've forgotten who you are. Once it begins to register with you, after I keep saying, right now, you are the Christ. You are the ultimate. Behaving as though you're not and believing your behavior, once that registers with you really, you'll have the intellectual justification for saying, wow, that means I have some capabilities that I'm using, but I'm using unwisely, and by damn it, I am really curious to find out how to use them wisely. And I'm delighted to find out that I don't have to go out somewhere and purchase these capacities or involve myself in certain obediences so as to become deserving of them. They're already here. I'm already using them. I'm just using them unwisely. I'm as complete and whole as I need to be to wake up. Once it registers with you that that's the case, you will begin to use your mind in a new way, and you won't be engaging in waking up as though you're the underdog, as though you're something less than, that by certain practices is going to become more than and different from what you were before. Your behavior will be different because your premise will be different. But you know what? There aren't any goodies you haven't already received. There aren't any capacities that are not already fully functional in you. You really all are like set designers in a movie. And this particular movie is a war movie. And so you design ancient buildings that are demolished by war. You create brand new ruins. Brand new ruins. Using all of the skill and all of the capability that you would use to build a set depicting heaven, depicting love, depicting beauty. You've all just become fascinated with creating demoralizing sets. But you're the fully Christed sons and daughters of God, fascinated with that activity. Again, I'm going back. To create is to love, or to love is to create. Love extends outward simply because it cannot be contained. Extends outward from where? From the altar. Remember that? The altar, right in the middle of you. That place of excellence in you. That place where your right mind is present and active and ready to fill you with the conscious experience of who you truly are.